Hello and welcome to Her Intuition podcast, where we talk about all the things that matter. I am your host Talia, and today what matters is building a routine and learning how to stay consistent. This means managing how to be productive without neglecting your work and social life. So this basically means learning how to maintain balance in all aspects of life. One thing that I've noticed on social media is everyone seems to be all about having this healthy, productive lifestyle. From one person's feed to the other, everyone just seems to look like they've got it all under control, when in reality they probably don't, which is absolutely fine. I will tell you right now, I definitely do not have it all under control all the time, but what I do have is a routine and a schedule that when I feel like I've lost sense of direction, it grounds me and brings me back to the correct path. For me, my first indication that I've lost focus and I've lost sense of direction is the state of my room. When I look at my room and I see the absolute mess it is in, from the piles of clothes sitting in the corner on a random chair to the books and papers all over the table and just the sheer mess around me, those were visual reflections of the total disarray my mind was in. Not to mention the days where I struggled to find motivation to do the things that I needed to do, or the days where I struggled to stay focused on the things that I was already doing. Those are all moments that I came to the conclusion that I'm not here right now. Like mentally, I'm just not at one with myself. I need to refocus. I need to, regain myself. I need to center and align myself correctly because I'm just not here. So I would clean up my room, get everything nice and spotless again. Even if mentally I wasn't back there, I would just start by cleaning everything and just making sure everything looks spotless. And I was like, okay, that's the first step. Let's move on from there. But if I'm being real with you, that's not something that I always used to do anytime I felt like disconnected. I only started doing that about 3 or 4 years ago when I read the book Atomic Habits from James Clear. And in one part of the book, James speaks about how when he went to uni and he was sharing accommodations with people, even though he was surrounded by them and they had very disorganized habits, he made it a habit for himself to always keep a healthy sleeping pattern and to always keep a clean living space, which I'm assuming for him, it helped him to develop good habits of discipline, which he then implemented in different aspects of life later on, which is now something I try to do in my own life. Now, what I'm about to share with you is some advice that I feel like I need myself, and I want to speak to you, I want to speak to myself in this right now. Me personally, I'm very big on planning. Like, I plan everything. It even got to a point where I used to have 3 planners. Definitely didn't need that many planners, but if I'm being real, I feel like I have very nice handwriting and I like to write things down. It's just what works for me. If I have it written down, it's just like, yeah, I'll remember that because it's written down and it's in cute handwriting as well. So anyway, I have a habit of planning everything out to the T. Do I follow it all the time, word for word? No. But I feel like it's always good to have a structure and have something that, helps minimize stress. I schedule everything. I schedule work days, gym days, chill days. I even have gone as far as to schedule my direct debit, just so that I know that when that money comes out of my account, I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's not my problem. It's not my money anymore. It's gone. So the money I have left is for me. It's for me to do as I please with. So, but anyway, when it comes to creating a routine that suits you, there's multiple factors of it that you have to consider. But firstly, you have to understand that everybody else's routine and everybody else's way of doing things will always differentiate. And it's always a good thing to remember to stop comparing where you are in life to where somebody else is in life, because you don't know how long they've been working on what they're doing, what they did to get to where they are, or the journey could be different for you. They could have been for example, handed their success, or they could have worked for their success. So it's not your job to worry about somebody else's bag. Worry about your own. And I'm talking to myself and you when I say this. The quicker you understand that everybody else's routine is different, the quicker you understand the way people do their things is different, the better. What you need to understand is, when it comes to creating a routine that suits you, you need to worry about what your priorities and what your goals are, and which one of those goals are most important, and the kind of work and dedication you have to put into making those things happen. No, I'm not here to bombard you with this hardcore, oh, if you don't do this, you're a failure. If you don't work hard, you're a failure. No, I'm not here for that. Life can be very unpredictable at times, which is why flexibility is key. Allow yourself the room to make changes to your routine. Allow yourself the room to make changes to your schedule. Give yourself the space to try new things and try new hobbies and see what works for you and what doesn't. Because for one, I have done that. I've done a bunch of things when it comes to what I feel like I can excel with, that's within my skill set. Because when I went to uni, I studied what I know, which is fashion. I studied fashion from secondary school. When I was in primary school, I basically loved being in the art room. I loved doing art all the time. Didn't care for much else. I just wanted to do art. I just wanted to draw. When I went to secondary school, still, art was my thing. When I went to college, I applied to do a fashion design course, but I had to do my first year in art and design course first, and then they moved me to a fashion and design course. When I went to uni, I did a bachelor's in fashion and design. And then when COVID hit, and it hit right after I basically did my first year at uni and just messed up everything, and I had to stay home for a while, and it's like, well, I just got into my dream uni and I've just done my dream course, and now I'm not even experiencing it the way that I wanted to, and I'm currently sat at home not knowing what to do for the first time in a long time. And that really dawned upon me. So I then started to expand my horizon and figure out, what else can I do? So I had to think about, what can I do? I can draw, I can use a computer, I know how to use the necessary design tools on a computer such as Adobe and, you know, a plethora of other things. I'm not going to list them all right now. I'll probably just put them on the screen. But I have a lot of skills that kind of revolve around design. So my skills went from designing in fashion to designing apps. I started to get into UX design and UI design. UX and UI design are very similar but slightly different in the way that they work. So I looked into UX design first, and that was more the background stuff. That was the bones of, you know, designing. UI design is user interface design, and UX design is user experience, I think. I can't remember. But I looked into both of them. I figured out that I didn't like UX design as much. I liked the design concept more. So I went to UI design. That was more the face of everything. In doing UX design, I learned how to code and everything. I learned how to do JavaScript. I learned how to do HTML. And I learned how to do the other one, what's it called? CCS. And yeah, great. I learned more stuff, but I wasn't enjoying the UX design part as much as I was enjoying the UI design. So I moved over to UI design and started doing that, created a portfolio and all stuff. And I was like, okay, maybe I can find a career in this. I enjoyed it for a little bit, but again, that was something that I just burnt out with, because yes, I could do it, but it's like, it was very long and it was very taxing. But the point is, try different things, see what works for you. Allow yourself to try new things. Allow yourself to figure out what works for you and what doesn't, you know? So you never know. One of these things could inspire you. One of these things could, down the line, as a collective, just be like, ooh, I've tried this, I've tried that, and I've tried the other thing, and I like different things from each of those things. Maybe I could put them together and just, you know, you never know. But The goal is to create structure that helps you develop your skill set that could potentially lead to success. Too often we convince ourselves that massive success requires massive rewards when that is very far from the case. Something I think we all fail to realize is that mastering consistency is very achievable, especially when you understand that small improvements, when repeated over time, can make a very big difference. Because if you look at it, you are here, and if you do one thing each day that contributes to the goal that you have, you could end up over here. However, if you are here and you just are stagnant and don't choose to do anything that contributes to the goals and contributes to your priorities and the things that you want to do, life goes on and you stay here. Life goes on and you haven't made any improvements. Life goes on and you haven't done anything that will take you any further. So you only have yourself to blame for that. Take one step at a time. 1% is better than 0. But I understand having a lack of inspiration or a lack of motivation to do things, because if you really think about it, the ability to stay consistent at something is massively influenced by how you feel towards those things. Have you ever noticed how much easier it is to stay consistent with something you actually enjoy as opposed to the things you're forced to do? Those things can feel more like a chore than something you're excited to do. I'm sure we've all experienced those days where you struggle to get out of bed and you physically feel glued to your pillow and just don't want to get up, and you're just like, That is your mind and your body subconsciously telling you that it already knows what to expect from the day. It already knows how to feel. It already knows. And it has given up before the day has even started. It has given up before your eyes have even opened. And a lot of times that comes from when you are doing things that you don't enjoy. A lot of times that comes from when you're in a job that you don't enjoy. It's something that when you wake up, it just feels very taxing on the soul. It feels like, I don't want to do this. I don't look forward to this. I don't enjoy this. I do this because I have to. I do this because it's what brings in the money. And that I totally understand. I've had 2 jobs. I've had one job that is just my standard 9 to 5 where, that's what keeps the money in the pockets. And then I've had another job that's it's more like a hospitality job, You go there, there's different things happening, there's different events happening. There's just something different every time we go there. Like, I would actually look forward to going to that job. Yes, it's the same place. It might be the same people, but there's something different that's going to happen each time I'm there. I might meet new people when I'm there. I might be doing new things when I'm there. There's something different, but sometimes a 9 to 5 is just... But, one thing I think we should also take into consideration when it comes to, building a routine is self-care. It's a very important thing. A lot of the time, self-care goes undervalued and can be misunderstood as being selfish, which in my personal opinion, so what? Who cares? Take time for yourself. Look after yourself. Self-care isn't a luxury. Self-care is a necessity. When you look after yourself first, when you take self-care into consideration, you put yourself in a place where you've calmed yourself, you've centered yourself, and you're more inclined and you're more able to just deal with things in this life. My personal technique of self-care is journaling and gym, but I haven't really been on that lately. So let's just cross that one out. But yeah, journaling. I enjoy journaling a lot. Journaling is something that I've done for a very long time, and it's just helped me vent and express myself and just get it all out on paper. I named my journal Yoni, and anytime I made an entry, I would always start it off by saying, hi Yoni, oh, today's not been a good day, or this has happened, or da 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 da, or I'm not feeling it today. I just start off with hi Yoni. Sometimes I would even ask her, hi Yoni, how you doing? Kind of thing. And it's just, it just always helped in those times where I felt like I had no one to talk to, and I was just able to just, go to my journal, write down, and just talk and just speak, just express how I feel and just vent in my entirety. And Yoni would just listen. No answer back, obviously, because it's a book, it's paper. But Yoni would just listen to what I had to say, and afterwards I'd feel just so light and so elated and just not bothered about whatever problem I had before, because now I've expressed it and it's all on paper. All the emotions I was feeling are now in this book, and I've closed it and it's not a problem anymore. But one thing I did notice about journaling is I was always able, after probably a couple months, to go back in the journal and flip back through past pages and just see how much I really improved and changed mentally. An actual example, how much I was less emotionally charged. I was able to handle my emotions better. I was able to handle my anger better. I was able to just be more myself. I was able to be more delicate and just be me. Honestly, it's definitely something I would highly recommend to you. I would very, very much recommend journaling. It helps so much. If you're going through something, journal. If you just need a place to plan, journal. If you just, I don't know, journaling is just an it factor. It's like self-therapy for me. At least it was for me. I used to write in my journal a lot. There's a lot of anger in my journal, just from feeling stuck and not knowing what to do with myself. And then there are also times where I'm real happy. For the most part, it started off very angry. I started writing in my journal when I was in a very angry place in my life. And then over time, I was less angry. I was less bothered. I was less stressed. I started to, be a better version of myself. And nowadays, my journal is real happy. So, But anyway, to bring self-care back into focus, self-care should be a non-negotiable part of your routine. You cannot pour from an empty cup, so taking care of yourself is essential for ensuring that you have success and happiness. The best thing you can do for yourself is to fully emulate the gift that's already within you. Step into the position you desire, both mentally, physically, and emotionally. Learn to appreciate the gift that you are so that you can continue to inspire everyone around you. Now, let's talk about the incredible, benefits of creating balance between your work life and your social life and your personal life. Basically the same thing, but let's talk about it. Neglecting one area can lead to burnout, strained relationships, and just a sense of dissatisfaction. On the other hand, dedicating time to your work life and dedicating time to your social life can enhance your quality time. One thing I do know, creating a vibrant social life provides you with a support system. Being able to separate your daily obligations from your social life and your personal life really rejuvenates you and provides you with the break you need from the other stresses you may be dealing with in life. This doesn't take away from the fact that focusing on your goals and dedicating time to work on them helps you to develop your skills and achieve personal growth. Not to mention the sense of fulfillment that you feel. I know for a fact that when I was starting this podcast, like I said in my last episode, I was going through the months of just not knowing whether I wanted to start it or not, or whether I should or not. And when I finally decided to do so, there was the period where I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about, what I wanted the podcast to be about, where I wanted to go with it, whether I wanted to have a solo podcast or whether I wanted to have a group podcast. And if I wanted to have a group podcast, where was I going to do it? Who was I going to do it with? What was the setup going to be like? There was a lot of factors that I needed to think about regarding it, and especially when I went through the design process of making a logo. I went through so many logo designs. I think off the top of my head, I went through maybe six or seven different logo designs until I came to my final one, which is the one I have now. But even then, just before this one, there was 2 other designs, and I went and printed a t-shirt with the old logo on it, thinking, yeah, this is where I'm at, this is where I'm stopping with, until I got here. So I went through a lot of things when it comes to the process of making this podcast, and now we're here, and I'm at the point where I'm happy with what I've got so far. It may change later on, but for what I have now, I am happy with it. My logo, I'm happy with it. The name, I'm happy with it. And keep in mind, I changed that twice too. I'm happy with what I've got now. I'm happy with my setup. I'm happy with all of it. So I know that trying to find a balance between work and social life can feel like a constant juggling game at times. It requires constant effort and boundary settings and having effective time management. But once you really find that sweet spot where you can excel in your career and still enjoy life at it, that's when you know you've reached a point of satisfaction, and you know you've reached a point where you can really feel that sense of fulfillment and happiness. But to wrap up this episode, let's talk about the key takeaways from today's topic. Number 1, find a balance between work and social life. Number 2, set clear goals and priorities to guide your routine. Number 3, embrace flexibility and allow room for adjustment. And number 4, finally, prioritize self-care as a non-negotiable part of your routine. There is so much you can achieve in life through hard work and dedication. Hard work provides you with opportunities, and when you seize those opportunities, you become a visual representation to others around you of what committing to that dedication means. You become an example to others around you of what dedicating yourself can do, of what applying yourself can do for you in the long run. So do it. Make that list. Start the journal. Plan the goal that you've been trying to plan. Do the things you've been trying to do. Start today. Start now. On that note, thank you so very much for tuning in to today's episode of Her Intuition Podcast. Once again, I have been your host, Talia. See you all in the next episode. Love you. Bye.